Hello, my friends, my family, and esteemed colleagues. Well, for today's presentation or information, I should probably have put some stethoscope, maybe some glasses, so I look a little bit more serious. Because what I'm going to be talking about and what I'm going to reveal, it is going to sound so unbelievable that especially for trained physicians, people who went through medical school, this is going to seem like stupidity and fantasy. We are going to just talk about heart disease in general. What is heart disease? When heart doesn't perform correctly, or it shows some symptoms of difficulties. Now, the symptoms usually we hear as murmurs of a heart. Normally, when we are sitting or standing, not doing any movements, and if we listen to the heart, we should not really hear nothing, just blub bloom, blub bloom. Okay, this very dull and sharp sound that stops. Well, there are occasions when there could be a sound, slushy sound coming through, like well, this sound is increasing with heart's activity. So as we are increasing the speed of circulation, now the bloom is being followed by sound through it. And the harder, the faster the heart is beating, the stronger is the whooshy sound. Now this murmur is normal. Basically, this is like if you are standing next to a river and the river is flowing slowly, you don't hear anything. But where it shallows, and because of that more water passes faster, as the speed increases, now we can hear that of water going and touching objects. Now, why heart starts making this sound? Because blood enters the heart through orifices, through openings. So the change in a volumen creates swirls which create the sounds. Now, faster it goes, the more turbulence, the more of the murmur we are going to hear. Now this we know this is happening, so we don't pay attention. So if there's a little heart, the heart speed, heart rate can increase also if we are under psychological pressure. Okay, the heart pumps faster. That's what increases blood pressure as well. So when we hear this, it's not much of a problem. Okay, this is normal. Well, we can start hearing these murmurs even when the body is still. And we still don't pay any attention to it. Why not? Because this is how we are told in medical school. Nothing to worry about. And even if there is something to worry about, we don't have to do nothing because there are no symptoms. So we are actually waiting until the oxygenation of the blood becomes so bad that the skin starts turning blue, especially underneath your nails. Further away from the heart, there will be a worse lack of oxygen. If something is wrong with our pump. Now, there are other symptoms, of course. Fatigue, shortness of breath, dizziness, fainting. All these are symptoms of not enough oxygenation, which are something to do with lungs, or in this case with heart. Something is happening with the heart. So what can be preventing us from oxygenation? As a fetus, the heart Well, we don't, fetus does not breathe through lungs. So the atrium of heart has 4 chambers, 2 atriums where the blood goes in, and then 2 actual pumps, which are the ventricles, which push the blood out. One into the lungs and one into the rest of the body. Now, since there is no need for respiration, fetus basically has 1 ventricle. Returning blood doesn't matter where it returns from. Is it from lungs or is it from rest of the body? It just gets mixed all together in this ventricle and goes down into in this atriums, and then goes down into ventricle to be pushed through the body. Why? Because body of a fetus oxygenates through the oxygenation of their mother. Just exchange of gases through placenta. Now, as the fetus is about to be born, as the baby is about to be born, it is going to have to breathe. So there is a septum, there is a divider being made between the 2 atriums of the heart to separate them. Now, sometimes when baby is born, this septum is not fully completed. So there is still mixture, but very quickly after this, it closes fully. Now, there are children, babies, where this doesn't happen, and the opening remains smaller or larger. The larger it becomes, the more difficulty it creates. And if it doesn't close, sometimes even during the early years of growth, this closes, but sometimes doesn't. Friend of my wife had this problem. She was 37 years old when finally she accepted my help, and within 3 months, this septum has closed, okay, without surgery. Now, we, as trained doctors, we are not being told that it is possible to close this naturally. No, it's a defect. Maybe your shuken grandfather or grandfather had it. Oh, this is genetic. Bull. It simply doesn't occur. As hernia in a body appears, what is causing it? Cellular dehydration. Okay, we'll skip this part now. This is one of the problems that happens with the heart, and when we have a hole in atrium, if blood mixes oxygenated and non-oxygenated blood, and then is being pushed out, of course there is going to be lack of oxygen in our body, because we are mixing the blood that did not go through lungs with the lung that went through lungs. So we are actually cutting down the amount of oxygenated red blood cells. And there is a lack of oxygen. This is not a problem if we are not moving much, because we don't require much of oxygen. But the more we move, the more we think, the harder work we do, we need more and more oxygen. And now this problem keeps us away from oxygen, and such a people are handicapped. Now again, depending on the hole, we call it a herniated heart or a hole in the heart. Now, there are problems that develop in a heart during years, and we always, as older we get, we always are being reminded, no, you are 50 years old, you gotta go every year for a checkup with the doctor. They have to hear your heart, check your lungs, check your prostate, you know, the basic points where usually first symptoms occur. Digestive problems, that's normal, that's we attribute to anything. We are not even bothering with digestive problems unless they are really severe. Why? Because doctors have no clue how to feed themselves and how to assist others, because we are not being told anything about the diet. Luckily, as a veterinarian, we know much more about diet and different digestive systems, but still we are being lied to with incorrect information. Now, when when heart starts producing murmurs, strong murmurs, even when we are not under physical activity. Now there are different types of murmurs. The murmur can be produced when the orifice, the entrance of the blood in the heart, changes its consistency, becomes harder, or it can even shrink, so it becomes smaller. Of course, there will be more turbulence. If it's harder, also more turbulence, because as long as it's soft and flexible, it kind of flexes and opens. So less turbulence. Another reason why the murmurs can occur, that the valves that opens and close, that makes a boom, 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 because valve closes. Well, this valve can all of a sudden start getting harder edges and actually becoming deformed, like a dry fruit. And we say, well, there is a problem with heart valve. Now, what happens when heart valve doesn't close? Well, it starts seeping blood backwards. So you have different kind of a murmur when you are bloop, 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 you hear the blood flowing backwards. Of course, now, not even amount of blood goes out, which is again not a problem if you are calm. But if you have this problem and you want to do some harder exercise, well, there will be a lot of seepage going backwards and not enough oxygenation, and you are going to feel tired, hyperventilating, and always short of breath. Now, heart will have to compensate, and it starts beating faster, just to compensate for the loss. So instead of poop, 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 it goes poop, 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 tries to catch up. So we call it, you have arrhythmia. And now, as arrhythmia, we are focusing on fix the arrhythmia, slow down the heart, get it back to normal. Well, normal doesn't work, because normal now is not normal as it used to be, because the heart doesn't work properly. So normalizing things, you're actually working against your body. And what is the solution? Surgery. Doesn't matter if you have a heart hernia or if you have a problem now with a valve, surgery, stitch the hernia together or replace the valve, because how do you heal heart valve? It's damaged goods. Well, both of these two things are wrong. Now the problem is that we are always waiting to see symptom. So once when you have the symptom, well, the heart also has undergone changes because of trying to catch up. It's working harder. And because it's working harder, it gets enlarged. It's a muscle. Like any muscle, what does bodybuilder do to make big muscles? Works hard. So heart, as it works hard, it enlarges. I have a problem. What a problem, enlarged heart. You are sick, you have enlarged heart. Well, enlarged heart creates absolutely no problem. Every athlete, especially the ones which have very energy demanding sports like bicyclists, the speed skaters, even speed runners, they need a lot of force to put in the work. They will have enlarged heart because heart accelerates and pumps very hard during these exercising, during the sport activities, and becomes large. No, but it's not a problem. If you have an athletic heart, that's okay. But this, you have a heart, no, this is a problem. It's the same freaking deal. There is no difference. Difference is only that we have a sick body. And as a sport person, most likely we don't. So heart is enlarged because it's working harder, because of a sport activity, and when we are not in sport activity, heart doesn't have to work that hard. And actually happens, which happened with me and also with many sport people who did some really demanding sports, that there is no need for heart to even pump regularly. So they skip a beat. So instead of tudum, 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 you have tudum, 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 because the body does not need that much oxygen. Remember, body is self-sufficient robot, programmed, and it always reacts to the programming it has and to the sensors. So if sensor says, okay, I don't need more oxygen, okay, so heart says, okay, I don't need to make this beat. And in the other way, if not enough oxygen is coming, the heart says, okay, I have to make extra beat. And the more extra beat it makes, it works harder. The heart enlarges. So enlarged heart doesn't matter if it is because of sport activity or it is because we have a health problem. Enlarged heart creates absolutely no problem, and we should not even focus on this. We should focus on a problem, that why the heart is working extra hard. And basically we know why, but why are we waiting to see symptoms? Because we know that we are not healing anything, and as long as you don't do any symptoms, you don't have a shortness of breath, you don't feel hyperventilating when you are going up the steps, well, since we cannot help repairing this problem, at least we don't have to medicate you until the symptoms shows up. And now again, medicating does not really help you. You are trying just to calm down the heart, because it can come to the point that there is such a big lack of oxygen that heart goes into fibrillation. It just goes, well, we have to stop this. Or actually, we should prevent this, because this is dangerous. Because if heart increases beat so much, then there is no time for valves even to close. So it's like pumping empty. Like water pump when it gets air in it, and it just pumps like crazy and no water is coming out. Same happens with the heart. So our only treatment that we are being told in the school is basically to slow down the heart so we don't get in that situation. Nothing else. Everything else is baloney, and we are actually destroying the body. As soon as we hear the rumors when body is standstill, we should start healing this body, but we don't, because we don't know how to. Why not? Because we are never told the truth. We don't know that everything that happens in our body, as we call disease, is triggered through toxicity. Toxicity of the blood that becomes cellular toxicity. As the cells become more toxic, or as the blood is toxic, cells cannot hydrate. As the cells don't hydrate, they slowly lose water because they cleanse themselves, until they cannot lose more water and they have to stop cleansing and they become acidic, they cannot hold electricity, and we fall apart. Same happens with heart. Now, why did the orifice, the entrance of the artery or vein into the heart, why did it shrink? Because all the cells in the blood vessels are dehydrated, they diminish their volume, and overall volume of a tissue is diminished. So everything shrinks, including the orifice. And as it shrinks, it becomes harder. As it becomes harder, it becomes brittle. On veins, it is not a problem because there's no blood pressure. But on heart blood vessels, coronary blood vessels, that's a big problem, because with increased pressure, they become more brittle and they can burst, And now they have to fix themselves, and this is where the obstruction starts showing up. But this is another problem I was talking about. Now, just simple heart. So how can we prevent this? Simply change of diet, because we have to take out the toxic elements that prevent cellular hydration. But to do that, we have to be able to cleanse the blood. And we cannot cleanse the blood without plasma. You need minerals and water. Water on its own will not do it, because you are disturbing the conductivity, electric conductivity of the liquid in your body. And since we run on electricity, this is a big no-no. You die from it. It cannot be done. So less minerals you have, the less level of water you're going to have. So it doesn't matter how much you drink. You will immediately urinate and sweat it out. It is not going to cleanse, and it is not going to stay in your body. Well, cleanse a little bit, but not enough, not nearly enough. Only by drinking, increasing the plasma level, which means consuming the salt. And the only salt that brings you all the minerals you need is fresh sea salt. That is being sold under the name Celtic or Celtic sea salt, but also other names in other countries. The main point is it has to be freshly harvested. It cannot be from some mine that sea was there thousands or millions years ago. It doesn't count. Check my video on salt. Better yet, check my articles. They are way more detailed. So what happened is now you need this salt, but you have problem with pressure, you have problem with the heart, and what are we being told in medical school? No salt, because salt increases blood pressure. Salt increases the hydration, keeps more water in your body, and this is what causes high blood pressure and water retention. All lies, baloney, stupidities that we have accepted because experts told us so. And studies are proving this. All fake pieces of paper with information that's worth absolutely nothing. Okay, we need this plasma. This is why divers always feel so healthy. This is why we always rejuvenate when we spend vacation at the seashore. Because we absorb salt and water through our skin. So, what happens? Even when problems occur, if the hole in the heart didn't close, even if the arteries and veins are tight, or if it is hard and smaller, even if the heart valve has dried so much that it resembles a dry prune and it cannot close anymore and even loses power, so starts flipping backwards, which happens to valves on our veins also, and that's why we get big blue veins on our legs. So even in this condition, if you start properly hydrating, you are going to reverse the process and the body is going to heal. There is absolutely no need for surgery. We don't have to close the hernia, which I have proven with my clients. We don't have to change the valve, which I have proven with my clients. It will rehydrate, it will straighten up, soften up, and start working properly. And you will recover your proper blood pressure. Doesn't matter of your age, doesn't matter of the diseases. And the worst thing you can do for yourself is go to vegetable diet, because here you have all these phytotoxins which are preventing cellular hydration. All these antioxidants, so-called. All stupid, false information that is being promoted not only through allopathic medicine but also through supplement medicine, because the knowledge comes from the same books. We are just trying in different ways find solution. But you cannot find it if you are in this box of information. If you don't step out of it, there is no way you can help yourself. So here, in very simple language, I am explaining how easy, ridiculously easy it is to heal the body. Don't trust me. Give yourself the opportunity to heal. Just do it. There is self-healer's protocol. If you are following it exactly, there is no way that you are not going to heal. No way. Of course, people always, because of this information that we have, no, I ate a little bit of spirulina just to make it healthier. I put a little spinach in there to make it healthier. Just a little cinnamon because my sugar, I'll have it healthier. All this is baloney science, and you are actually preventing the protocol to function. You want this protocol to do miracle for you, follow it exactly. It is so simple because it has to be so simple. As soon as you start complicating it, you are going to mess up. Okay? Thank you for listening. Just think about it. Love you all.